Okay, so hello everyone. Nice to meet you and thank you for coming to this information session. My name is Nadine from Kibo RPC Secretariat, and I will be guiding this session about the 6 Kibo RPC. So thank you for attending this guidance session, and let's begin. So here is today's agenda. So I will start with an overview of Kibo RPC, the Kibo Robot Programming Challenge. I will also explain the preliminary round and the final round conducted on the International Space Station. And at the end of this guidance session, we will have a Q&A session. So we may be able to answer to your question via the chat, even during the explanation. So if you have a question when I speak, you can put it on the chat and my colleagues will answer to you. So yeah, please feel free to use the chat as needed. So next, I will start with Kibo RPC overview. So the Kibo Robot Programming Challenge, I will say from now on, Kibo RPC, is a robot programming competition for students in which students compete to complete a given mission using a robot on the International Space Station, or known as ISS as well. So I will say ISS from now on. So they use a robot on the ISS with the action students have programmed. So this program is open to graduate students and undergraduate students from around the world with a focus on Asia and Pacific region. And all the details will be written on the guidebook. So please read the guidebook as well. That will be able on April 1st. So the Kibo RPC aim to increase your skill, your expertise, and aspiration in science, technology, and mathematics. So you will understand the difference among a simulator environment and the real environments of space. You will also learn about the position and attitude estimation of the space robot, as well as the error correction. And overall, we hope this competition will be a great learning experience for you all. So now I would like to take a moment to explain what is the International Space Station, which the final round will take place. So the ISS, as you see on the picture, is a huge facility where astronauts can implement experiments, so science experiments mainly. The ISS is located around 400 kilometers above the ground. So the final round will be conducted in the Japanese experiment model Kibo that you can see on the screen as well on the right side. Okay. So, okay. So the Kibo RPC is a robotics programming competition where participants control a robot on the ISS using program that they have created. So for that, we have two types of free-flying robots on board the ISS. First, you have INTBALL, which is a JAXA robot, so Japanese robot, used by the crew for routine video footage of the ISS. The second one is Astrobee, which is a NASA, so an American robot that can help astronauts with a lot of daily tasks. Since last year, the two robots are used for the Kibo RPC. Before that, it was only Astrobee. This year, you will have to program and operate Astrobee, while INTBALL will be used as a camera to film Astrobee moving in the ISS during your run. So to summarize, you will do a program for Astrobee, but the two robots will be used. So every year, Kibo RPC asks two students to create the program for Astrobee, but the mission of the robot is different each time, as you can see on the screen. You have the details of each mission. Through this competition, participants can learn about science and technological and mathematical skills, as I said, and each mission is regroup this learning. So you can also see an overview of the number of participation for the previous years on the screen. Since 2020, so the first edition, the participation ratio has greatly increased. The number of teams and the participating countries has doubled since the first edition, as you see. In 2020, we had 7 countries in region, and last year we had 13 countries in region. And even for the team, we have 300 around teams in 2020. And last year we had 660 teams around, which is a great increase. So this competition is open to students, I said, up to the graduate level from various countries, with a focus on the Asia Pacific region. And I will explain in which country can participate to the Kibo RPC a little bit later on my presentation. Okay. So next we have an overview of the 5th Kibo RPC, which was held last year. The game story was around a mission where participants had to work together with Astrobee to help an astronaut to find a lost item. So Astrobee has to move around the Kibo module to find the lost item. Okay. Now, in the 5th competition, we had, I said before, but 661 teams and 2,788 students from 13 countries and regions that has participated. The teams that advanced through the national preliminary round had the opportunity to control the robot on the ISS during the final round. So during this final round, students' programs were executed in order based on the preliminary ranking. And after observing the result, an award ceremony was held to recognize the participants' achievement. The champion of the 5th competition was a team from Thailand. They successfully executed all image recognition tasks with precision and completed the mission faster than any other team, securing a well-deserved victory. So image recognition and precision and fastness was a key for their success. Also, finalists who wished to participate in person attended to the final event from Tsukuba Space Center in Japan, where they also had the opportunity to interact with an astronaut from JAXA who joined the event. A similar event is planned for this year's competition, so we hope you look forward to it and that you could come to Japan to see your rounds during the final round. So now we will see the details of the 6th Kibo RPC, so the outline. We will take first a look at the game story for this year edition, for this year Kibo RPC. So this time the story will follow a space pirate named IB1 as Interval the First, who over the course of its short life gathered cosmic treasure and hid them somewhere inside the Kibo module of the ISS. An astronaut holds clue about the real treasure hidden by IB1, but does not know the exact location of this treasure. So your mission is to work together with Astrobee to find the treasure hidden by the space pirate before any rival does. So, of course, this story is purely fictional, but through this scenario, participants will develop an autonomous control program for the space robot Astrobee. So, as I said, Astrobee was developed by NASA and is equipped with various cameras. So you have especially the HASCAM and the NAVCAM, as you can see on the screen, and also it has obstacle detection functions and also a signal lights function, among other features available to participants. So you will need to make full use of this function to complete the mission. So take a good note of these features of Astrobee. Okay, so next slide. I will now explain what will be your mission concretely. So this is an overview of the. Sorry. This is an overview of the. Sorry, this one. Hi. This is an overview. Sorry, this is an overview of the game story. So first, the game begins as Astrobee docks from the docking station. So here on the screen. Then Astrobee begins its patrol to identify where the treasures are hidden in different locations. So for example, you have a treasure here, a landmark here, a diamond or a key. So you have to move Astrobee through the Kibo module. As Astrobee patrols the areas, there is designated oasis zone. You see them in blue. It is a blue zone that you see on the screen. So this oasis zone are within the station, and the participants are free to decide whether they pass through this zone or not. However, while Astrobee is inside the oasis zone, points will be awarded based on the duration of stay. So it means that participants must strategically plan their routes, considering whether to navigate through this oasis zone or take an alternative path. But passing by the oasis zone will mean that you have more points, so it can be really advantageous. For more details of information about that, please refer to the rule book, which is scheduled to be released on April 1st. So after completing the entire patrol, participants will report to the astronauts on what was found and where. Then, by analyzing the image provided by the astronaut, participants will identify the real treasure. So if, for example, the astronauts show you the diamond, you have to go by the diamond. Okay, so using the image of the real treasure obtained by the astronauts, Astrobee will navigate close the treasure's location and capture a photo of a picture of the treasure with its camera. After capturing the photo, Astrobee will activate its signal light to indicate the treasure location to the astronauts, marking the end of the mission. So just taking a picture is not sufficient. You also have to put on the signal lights on. The total limits of the total time limit from the start of the game to the final mission report is 5 minutes. So you have to do all this step by 5 minutes. So you have to develop a program that completes the mission within this time constraint. So now I will give you a few tips which are really important to succeed the mission and have the highest score. So first, you have to be sure to scan correctly the image so Astrobee can recognize them. This year, it may have several images on the same location, so you have to focus on the accuracy of the image detection in your program. It's a really important thing. The second one is that you have to think about the optimal route to move to our object efficiently while passing through the oasis zone as much as possible. So an optimal route may lead to a higher score, so it's really, really important as well. The third one is that you have to anticipate the problem that the robots or your program may face. For example, your program could be stuck in a loop, which is something really common, or the image could not load, or the mapping of your program could be weak. This is the kind of problem that you could encounter, so be careful about that. The fourth one is that the more you train and correct your program, the stronger your program is going to be on the real run. So we really, really encourage you to train and to develop your program the most possible and to do the maximum of training of your program. Okay. So next we will explain the competition schedule. So the schedule displayed on the screen is a current plan, but please note that it may change due to orbital constraints and other factors. How to participate, and I will explain now how to participate. So first you have to access the competition website to read the participation guidelines and to register your participation information via the registration URL. The registration deadline is May 12 at 11 p.m. 59 from Japan time. So yeah, be careful about the registration deadline. May 12 and it's 11:59, but Japanese time. Really be careful about the time. Within a few days, you will receive a confirmation email and login information as well for the simulator page. You can then use the simulator available on the website to develop your program. It's really a key step to use the simulator and develop and train it on develop your program and use the simulator to train your program. Now about the preliminary round. So the preliminary round will be taking place in the country you applied for participating in. You have to submit your preliminary round program via the simulator site by mid-June. The date is not decided yet. However, the simulator will open on April 1st. So that means that you can start to develop and train your program as soon as you are registered from April 1st until the submission deadline. So as soon as you are registered, you can use the simulator on April 1st. For the preliminary round, it will take place sometimes between late June to early July, with each participating countries and region holding their own preliminary rounds during this period. So you have to reach out to your country to have the details about the preliminary rounds. For the final rounds, and it will be an international event. So you have all the best team from each participating countries and region participating in the final rounds, and it will take place either online, either in Japan. You can participate to both. And the teams that qualify for the final round can refine their program before the final competition, which is really, really encouraged too. It's better to develop and to train your program again between the preliminary rounds and the final round. Also, due to the ISS limitation, if the number of the finalist team needs to be reduced, the selection will be based on preliminary round scores. Just for FYI. For the schedule of the final round, you have 2 steps for the final round. The first one is the APK final run, so your program final run. It will be in September of this year. So the finalist team program will be executed on board the ISS using Astrobee, and the result will not be announced at this stage. So it's just doing the run from each team. Then you have a final round event in November. So astronauts will present explanation and the result of all program that will go to the final rounds. So at this event, you can see all the run from all countries going to the final rounds. It will be an event that takes place on Earth and not on the ISS. The run will be before, and it will serve as an official results announcement. Okay, so about the final round events, you can either attend online or at the Tsukuba Space Center in Japan. So further details will be provided to participants at a later date about this final round event. Okay, so that's all for the schedule as for now. We have to confirm a lot of dates, as you see, so we will keep you posted. So now the first step for you is to fill your registration form on KiboRPC website if it's not done yet. To participate, you have to be a student and you have to have a team between 3 and 8 person. Really important. And also you need to have a team leader. So students, 3 to 8 person, team leader. After registrating, you will receive a registration completion notice by email with the login ID for the JAXA simulation environment. So please don't forget the deadline of application in May 12th. If you need to update the information after sending the application form, let us know via email indicating your team name. It's not a problem. You can still modify your team or something if needed after doing the registration. So if you can, you can make this modification even after the application deadline has passed. But first, you have to register by May 12th. Okay. So now I will explain a little bit about the criteria you have to meet to participate to KiboRPC. Because you have different ways of participating. For example, even if you are not from a country that is not a KiboRPC participating country, you have the possibility to participate through the United Nations. So it's called UNOSA, and the UNOSA international slots. So basically, if your nationality is from a KiboRPC participating countries, it's not a problem. You can apply to your nationality country. And if you are not from your nationality is not from the Kibo RPC participating country, you can either apply by UNOSA, or you can apply if you are living in or if you are in a school in a participating country, you can apply in this country as well. Okay. So next, I will explain the process after registering. So from the time of application until the simulator opens in April, participants will have a self-study period, which is really, really important. You can start from now on. During this time, you can learn about Astrobee programming through NASA publicly available GitHub resource. So you have GitHub 1, GitHub 2, and you also have the Astrobee website. So this information is also included in the guidebook that will be available in April 1st, so you can refer to it as needed as well. So really important thing to note is that the programming language used in this competition is Java, not JavaScript, it's Java. So you have to learn Java in advance or maybe if you learn Java in advance, it will be helpful for developing your program for the preliminary rounds. So we encourage you to learn about Java. Additionally, it may be beneficial to research about AI-based image recognition technique also used in these game rules. For example, object detection and pattern matching, which is really important for KiboRPC as well. For beginners of programming and all, we also have prepared tutorial videos, so please be sure to check them out. Okay. So now I will briefly explain the process after the simulator opens on April 1st. So this information will also be included in the programming module. So you can check all this information as well in the programming manual. You have more details. It will be available in upper first as well. So yeah. So first, to set up your computer, you have to check your PC specification first. A typical PC specification should be good enough for your simulation in the web environment. So for the simulation. Once you have confirmed the specification, you have to install Android Studio. So it's a software called Android Studio. And next, you have to download additional components and the template of APK, which can be found in the Downloads tab on the website. So the Kibo RPC website. To explain what is the template APK, so the template APK is a program area of Astrobee that cannot be created by the participants. So it's fundamental programming thing that will be on Astrobee. So it's been prepared in advance by JAXA, and you have to use it to do your program. So you use this template APK to write your own program. And as I said before, the language will be Java. So you have a little bit more information about all the PC and downloading on the programming guidebook that will be the programming manual, sorry, that will be available on upper first. Okay. So when all the downloads will be complete, you can start to develop your program and try to improve it. While programs can typically be executed in a web-based environment, it is also possible to set up a local simulator. So for details on how to set up the local environments, please refer to the programming manual as well. It will be explained. Okay, so I know that this explanation covers the steps after April 1st, but we really encourage you to start studying during the self-learning period to prepare for the simulator release. It's really important. Please use the time that you have to take advance on your programming because it takes time. Okay, so now I will explain how to create your program. So the process for creating the program is also explained in one of the development tutorial videos. So please take a look for more information if you need. So the tutorial videos are on the KiboRPC website. So first, you will build a program using the Android Studio on the PC that you have set up. When you open the download template APK with Android Studio, you will find a file called Your Service. It's on the lower layer of the app folder. When you open this file, you will see codes on the right. So this is in the area indicated by the red square on the screen. There is a line that says, write here your plan. So this is where you have to write your program. The program codes available and writing methods are described in the programming manual as well. So please take a look at the programming manual available on April 1st. If you want to add a function that is not in the command list in the programming manual, you have to add it by yourself or import the library. So next, upload the APK that you created using your account on the simulator website. You log on this JAXA simulation server using the ID you receive after the registration. You can see on it will be available, the simulator will be available after April 1st. So when you log in, you will see a screen like this. So this one on the screen. It's a home page, basically. When you click on the simulation tab, you will see a screen like this one, and you can upload your APK or to drag it and drop it in the specified area in the middle, slot 1, as you can see on the screen. So after uploading the APK, start the simulation to let your program run. So you can have an image of the program execution on the screen. Once you upload the APK on the simulation tab, the start button will become active. So please click it to run the simulation. Then you will get your results. When you click on the results, so you have a results button, you will see a screen like this one. So you can see a list of the results of the simulation that you have done. When you conduct more than 20 simulations, you will need to delete previous simulation results. So you have maximum 20 simulation results at one time. If you want to remove, you just have to click on the remove button on the run that you want to remove. Okay, so next, you can click on the view button on the right side of the simulation results to see the details. So this is an example of a detailed results. So you can see the game time and the score as well. And you can also use the buttons at the bottom of the screen to view the simulation results movie and download the simulation log file. So you have the simulator viewer for looking at your simulation result movie. And next to it, you have download log file in, I think, I don't know, is it yellow? In yellow, this is where you can download it. So now you can analyze the results and give a feedback to the programs you created to improve it. So you have to repeat this process to create your program for the preliminary round. For more detailed procedure and example of program creation, you have to refer to the tutorial video available on the website. And if you have a question about programming, you can contact the Secretariat anytime by email. However, you have to note that depending on the issue that you have with your programming, we will maybe not able to answer to the question for the sake of fairness of the event. So to not help too much your team compared to other teams. But if you have questions or things that you don't know, please feel free to contact us by email, of course. So now we will see how the preliminary will take place. So in the preliminary round, each country space agencies will run APKs submitted by the deadline, so May 12th, using the simulator. And teams with the highest average score, so I said really average score, will access to the final round. When I say average score, it's because we will calculate your score based on 10 runs. Okay, so the mission details are as explained earlier, but for more specific information, we have also a rule book. So you have the programming manual and you also have a rule book for the game story. So you can also read this rule book starting April 1st. So first you have, as I said, to submit your application form before the deadline. So so during the APK submission period, a submission feature for the preliminary round program will be added to the simulation platform. So for now, the APK submission period is from late May to mid-June. It's not decided yet which will be the date, so we will keep you updated about that. Please note that the submission after the deadline may result in disqualification from the preliminary round. So really try to be careful about the submission deadlines for the program. Additionally, the preliminary round in each participating country will take place in one day, so between late June to early July. This date will depend on the country or the region that we are participating. So, yeah, you have to reach out your country you are depending on. Okay, so even though you can create up to 20 data of APK, you can only submit one APK for the preliminary run. Each team will have 10 runs of their APK. So the random factors are the same for all the teams, and the score is calculated on the average of 10 runs, as I said before. So one APK, but 10 runs of the APK. So the preliminary round is organized by each country and region. So the organization can be different depending on where are you from, or where you are participating in. So it's just an example, but in Japan, we hold an event for the preliminary round, and the event is broadcast on YouTube. And if you're interested in, you can also see last year's competition on YouTube for the preliminary round. Maybe it can give you an idea of how it's like to participate to the preliminary rounds. Okay. So now I will explain how the final round will take place. So the final round is conducted by installing the program to Astrobee in orbit on the ISS. So before that, it was a simulator, but for the final round, it will be really on the Astrobee in the ISS for real. So the details and the program submission dates will be announced to finalists at a later date, but the program has to be submitted in advance, so before the final round event. For now, we are expecting late July to late August for the final round program submission. So if you have an idea, it will be in summer. So also, I want to tell you about the difference between simulated and real environments, because the preliminary round is on a simulator, but the final round is on the ISS, so the real space environment. So one significant difference between the simulation environment and the real environment is the accuracy of self-localization. So Astrobee determines its current position and orientation using a method called sparse mapping. So sparse mapping works as follows. First, pre-flight preparation. So initial image of the Kibo module are collected in advance to create a map stored inside Astrobee. And two, in-flight localization. While flying, Astrobee captures image with its camera and matches them with the pre-created map feature point to estimate its position and orientation. So initial image in Astrobee as well as real-time camera matching and mapping. So you have to know that in area with a few distinguishable features, Astrobee may experience self-localization loss, leading to loss of flight control. So it's really more difficult than the simulated environments because of this mapping and self-localization loss. In contrast, the simulation environment does not replicate this self-localization method. So as a result, issues such as decrease of accuracy of self-localization loss can occur during the final rounds. So you have to take care about that and to be aware of that. So the program that you used during the preliminary rounds maybe not be effective for final rounds. So really be careful about this accuracy program of the ISS. Okay, so now I will speak a little bit more about the final round event-wise. So if you have two events, first you have the APK final run, which is scheduled to take place in late September. At this time, the finalist APKs will be run on Astrobee on the ISS. So the finalists can watch the video of their run, but the results will not be announced on that day. So you cannot see the other people runs. Next, the final round events, which is an event where the results of the competition from the APK final run are watched with astronauts and the results are announced. The format of the event is most likely to be online and on-site, but we will inform you of the details as soon as we decide, of course, but it should be online and on-site, Tsukuba Space Center. So you also have to note that the final round events will be uploaded on YouTube at a later date. So even those teams that could not access to the final round can also watch the event, the final round event. Okay, so that concludes the explanation of the 6th Kibo RPC guidance session. Thank you very much for your attention, and we look forward for your participation.